It's Chillmonger and I'm wearing my hair like this so my thumbnail sticks out. It worked. Uncanny X-Men 1 through 10. This is X-Men Disassembled. I hated it. I have to say I hated it. From issue number 1 to 10, I had this optimistic, we don't know what they're gonna do with it, until like the last page where you just, none of this mattered. Nate Gray could have done what he did this entire time. I hated everything. I hated the way he dressed. Look at these. Who is he supposed to be? This is Leonardo da Vinci's White Jesus. We got the Four Horsemen. That's been done before, but that's always been tongue-in-cheek. This is like the depiction of Moses, and I think Blob over there is supposed to be Buddha, and I'm not sure what religion they're insulting with this one or that one, but stay away from that kind of stuff. You gotta stay away from religion. I've seen it done properly. God loves, man kills. They used William Stryker, but they always let you know that the Christian is wrong. Not Christianity, him. If they would have not done that story, I would have been perfectly fine with it. But they made it very clear that this is an evil villain and he is using words and applying it to mutants. Mutants, they don't exist in real life. This is an interpretation of what would happen if. That was, I'm saying, fine. This, though, what they did, it's like, oh, yeah, I hear the argument. If you're okay with that, then you should be okay with this. But I'm not okay with this because this crossed a line. There is a line. They use religion in... They're using religion dressing the villains up as the prophets. That's not okay with me. No, if you're gonna do religion, like with Indra, like with Dust, I'm thinking of others. Kamala Khan is a perfect example for this. The first issue, go ahead and read it. She uses her religion to motivate her of why she does the right thing. To save one life is to save the humanity. That's fine. You can use religion if it's only for good. Is that fair? It's what you may be asking. I'm saying, yes, it's fair. It's the only way it should ever be done. We should be that good stuff. But when it comes to this bad stuff, like dressing up your villains in this manner, talking about, like, God. God is fine. People call themselves God. Thor is a god, according to Marvel Comics. It's already done. But once you start insulting other religions, I think it's in Uncanny number 5. Yeah, it's in Uncanny number 5. It's so bad I don't even want to show it on the web camera. Like, what's going on here? Nightcrawler, Dust, and Indra. They should have a problem with this. Like, that's 3 mutants and none of them say a thing. And when the story's all said and done, they talk about how everything went back to normal. I didn't see Nate Gray return things back to normal. I didn't see billions of people. These are world religions. There's 7 billion people in the world. About 3 billion of them were just affected, and the comic book said that everyone just took that the mutant vaccine. And we're back to normal? I feel like they got the editor told them, listen, we're doing this War of Realms, and the X-Men can't be present for it. We need a reason to write them out. And the answer was to kill them, which is another problem. I hate this. I dislike this story. That's the religion aspect of it. Now let's get to the positives, or the perceived positives, would be that the younger mutants actually get some love in this book. I like what they did with Armor. That time the school was destroyed, but she protected them under her armor. I don't think she's ever done something like that before. That's cool. That's raising her rank. But you know good and goddamn well. You know good and darn well that they're gonna forget that these X-Men even got elevated. Like Glob Herman, Rockslide, and the other one was Anoli. They're not gonna get love after this issue. It's gonna be Armor only. Some next writer's gonna take over and completely crap on the previous run of X-Men issues, just like what happened with X-Men Gold. You remember the last issue of X-Men Gold? I thought it was interesting as hell. They found this mutant on the streets and they were gonna recruit him. He was being surrounded by the police. They're like, no, we're X-Men, this is mutant stuff, we'll take care of it. Kitty Pryde talks him down. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Your life just changed drastically. but you still get the choice to decide how it changes. Are you gonna become a superhero, blah blah blah, or are you gonna go to jail, this and that? And then the cop shot the kid. Same old same. He didn't want to hurt nobody. He just came here to party.
See a few dames, exchange some names.
The cop shot the kid, and that was that. We didn't know whether he'd be okay, and that's the cliffhanger that they left us on. They were all in the emergency room. You pick up Uncanny X-Men, it's like that never happened. He had fire powers, and we didn't see any fire or something red powers, and we didn't see any of that in here in Uncanny X-Men. It's like this run will probably go 30 or 40 issues. We're at number 10, and it'll be forgotten about. I think the only thing that matters is that Cyclops is coming back in the annual issue that's coming out next week. I'm happy for that. But, like, what's the plan? I talked about X-Men Gold. X-Men Red had a plan too. Jean Grey said she had a vision of what's going to happen. She even went to the UN, and things got sidetracked by Cassandra Nova for framing Jean Grey for a crime that she did not commit. Interesting story. I'm with it. But Jean Grey still got that up in her noggin. Like, what is happening? I wanted to see Catherine, Kitty Pryde, and Jean Grey, have a discussion about what are we doing next with the X-Men. Professor Xavier's name has been dragged in the mud, and so his dream must end too. We need to regroup, refocus, bring a round table of the X-Men leaders, and the top 10 X-Men. I could name them, but you know them. And just say, what is the idea now? Or what is our stance on killing? When is it okay? We're still not about killing? Yeah, we're heroes. We can't go to that. We're not the judge, jury, executioner. Fine. What about hate, mutant hate speech? And let's take a look at the school. Like, what's going on with the kids who... wouldn't it be interesting if all the kids who graduate from the X-Men Academy just go to the work life or go do some other stuff? Wouldn't it be more interesting, because they don't want to be X-Men, wouldn't it be more interesting if they said, take a look at the cafeteria, what do you see? Yeah, we see a bunch of kids, but look at which kids it is. It's the one with feathers and scales. It's the guys with different colored skins, the guys who can't hide. We find that mutants, every time we go to do those outreaches where we bring mutants in, it's always the ones who have antlers on their heads and the weird ones who come and join our school. All of a sudden, the ones who can simply just wear a turtleneck to hide their mutant ability, maybe tuck their hat in, maybe, like, that would be interesting. These guys are mutant-hating or self-hating mutants. That would be really interesting, and then we could probably do a thing where they got to teach each other how to love each other. That's straight. Oh, there are people in this world who hate the skin that they are in, and that could be used to an extreme with mutants. This is just spitballing off the top of my head. This is going to be a long video, and I appreciate you watching and listening to what I have to say. You might not know who I am. I'm a new YouTube channel here, and I'm talking about the X-Men, and I'm going to get back on topic. X-Men Disassembled. There was 2 issues in the middle where they went to this age of apocalypse, and this was in the future, and it seemed like those young X-Men I was just talking to you about aged. I found it. Why am I doing this? I could just post the pictures on top of the screen without me having to actually... Now, I'll get back on topic. Pixie is a chick who... She got elevation, I think, around 2009 when they went over to San Francisco. She was getting a lot of love. But as soon as Magic, another teleporter, showed up, it's like, we don't need Pixie, not so much anymore. And she kind of got deranked. And like I said, new writer, all of a sudden, she doesn't matter anymore. It's that new writers is killing this. They're only going like 20 issues, and then new writers come in. Back to the topic. That they went to this Age of Apocalypse place. They lasted there for 5 minutes in real time, but they were there for almost a full year, and they aged, and you would assume that they spent a lot of time fighting. They got experience and changed forms. Look what's happening to Glob Herman over here. This is great. We know Rockslide is not an actual rock. He is a spirit who manifests his body in rock form. So if he's like in limbo, he can use the limbo rocks to become a even stronger kind of mutant type thing. If he's in ice or snow, rocks is his thing. But like, that's really cool. And as soon as Bishop showed up in the next issue, which was number 8, Bishop comes to the spot and he's like, listen, only 5 minutes passed, man. We didn't give up on you guys. Come back. And it's like, all that progression that just happened. They gave up on the team. They were going to have a new mindset. Wouldn't it be cool if the young mutants said, F this X-Man stuff. We're not trying to be heroes. Magneto was right. Imagine if they did that. Quentin Quire, I think he's doing some stuff on West Coast Avengers. He is doing some stuff on West Coast Avengers. So what happened when Nate Gray said no more mutants? Maybe... Is this a world with continuity? Because, again, with that I want to know what Ms. Marvel has to say about what he did in issue number 5, what Nate Gray did. I want to read the Avengers. I want to see what T'Challa has to say, because Gentle is a mutant who was part of that battle, and the Wakandans care for the Wakandans. I want to know what T'Challa has to say about Storm, who he was with.
And if there's no more religions, isn't the Panther some sort of deity? Should Black Panther lose his powers?
They got a lot of questions which I don't think are going to get answered. I had faith, and I don't think they're going to get answered. The one thing I liked about this series when it began was, oh my god, look, Anoli, Armor, they're on screen. This is interesting. The young X-Men. We might get some new stories with these guys. Maybe Anoli's left arm will be cut off and he'll have something coming out of that that's more interesting. We didn't really get that. We just got them losing at the end of it. I'm not mad that they lost it. I'm not mad that they lost. I'm mad that it took 10 issues to get to the same answer. He didn't need his 4 Apocalypse horsemen. He did. Man, Apocalypse is another thing. He was a villain who was thrown in there just to be thrown in there. What happened with the Legion was kind of interesting. Multiple Man. I liked Multiple Man's series with Matthew Rosenberg wrote. I liked that. I liked the way that they used time travel and kind of made light of it. But time travel is a joke, make no mistake. And it looks like the next few issues the next few bits of this X-Men run will be, what do they call it? Age of X-Man. Based on what I just read in number 8, where they go to Age of Apocalypse, it's a bunch of non-canon, no real meaning towards it. Stories are going to be told, and I'm not so sure I'm going to pick it up. I might pick up the one with the younger X-Men just because I'm interested in that. They can still be molded and they can still progress, but the older guys, they're set in their ways and nothing's really going to change my opinion of them, and Marvel knows that. Maybe after Jean Grey died and came back to life, I could have a different... and it happened. I did have a different perspective of who Jean Grey was, Jean Grey. I'm going to do the same with Cyclops. When Scott Summers comes and says, I was right. I'm going to come and fix this place. Maybe he goes to Dust and he says, Dust, you see what happened? Maybe he goes to some... they didn't do the Jewish temples, but maybe he finds a Christian mutant and he goes, yo, listen, you're going to let what... who knows, man. I just don't have faith in... It is Matthew Rosenberg. What's wrong with Matthew... I still don't have faith in Matthew Rosenberg. I don't care. I don't think this is going to be a good book. A good series of books. I'm not excited for what happens next in the X-Men. I will read it because I'm an X-Men fan. I'm happy that there's only one book going on. One main book with Uncanny. I know they're doing an annual issue. Don't know what's going on with the New Mutants. I did not read X-Force number 1 though, which I will read today and you'll have a review of it. But who knows what time that's going to take place at. And they should be gone too if X-Man said to get rid of the X-Men. X-Man, X-Men, X-Force. This has been Chillmonger. I'm chilling, I'm mongering, and I hope this makes the thumbnail better. See, I tie my hair back sometimes. I don't have an outro. So, 100 subscribers.